Hello and welcome to Stories from Foster Care. I'm Niamh Barrett, and in this episode I'm speaking to foster father Niall Sheehan and his adult foster daughter Lauren O'Toole.
I'm not here to change the care system for me. I've been through it. It's the people who are going through it and who are going to go through it who may not feel that their voice will be heard, or who may not feel like they can be listened to, or may feel like they don't have a voice. They do have a voice. And if that means that I need to be their voice, I will be their voice. If I can change one thing for them, then that's a beautiful thing. So why would I not use my experience to benefit other people? It just is a no-brainer for me.
It's an honest and wide-ranging conversation about the ups and downs of foster care, and it's a lovely glimpse into a deep fostering relationship.
I can say that to any foster carer who phones up, pulling their hair out in the middle of the lake, going with one oar round and around and round and around, I'm there, and you're not the problem. You're not the problem. What you're doing is phenomenal, but you're forgetting to see the phenomenality of it because you're stuck in the mud. And that's what I want to be, and that's why I'm there.
We hope you enjoy listening. So, Niall and Lauren, thank you very much for coming in this morning to talk to me.
We hope it's our pleasure.
I've no doubt. It'll be mine anyway, and anyone who's listening. It'd be great to hear how each of you came into the foster care system. Lauren, would you like to start?
Okay.
And then we'll go to Niall.
Yeah, so I was placed in foster care when I was 2. It was December 2003. My parents struggled with addiction quite badly. I'm the youngest of 5 girls, and they had kind of been in the care system, not the care system, but on the radar, let's just say, before I was even born. So I suppose I'm kind of one of the lucky ones that I was only 2. Don't have a whole lot of memories of pre-care, which is, I think, a blessing for me. So yeah, I was fostered with Niall and his wife Noreen by their family in 2003, and I have not left. I have been there since. So my kind of care order was you'd be in care till the age of 18, but it wasn't a situation unfortunately for some others where, I turned 18 and it was, okay, now you're by yourself. My foster family, not that anyone can see me, but I'm doing the commas with my fingers. My foster family is just my family. It's not, I wouldn't class them as a foster family, that kind of way. So I suppose I kind of came into the care system just because the environment I was in, I needed to be taken out of, and that was the right call to be made. And luckily enough, I landed in kind of the perfect conditions, really.
Yeah. So you've been with one foster family the whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's people who don't have that luxury, I suppose, or they're not lucky like that. You can get moved around quite a lot. Sometimes if the family just isn't a fit for you. There's a lot of factors kind of that come into it, but I'm one of the lucky ones. I was taken out of a situation, I was put into a really lovely situation, and that situation just hasn't changed. So I just went from one family to another family, and that's been my family since. I didn't get bounced around. I didn't have to, go into new schools. There's a load of things that a lot of young people unfortunately have to go through, but not me. No, I was lucky.
How about yourself, Niall? Was Lauren your first foster child?
No, we started the process in 2002. And I remember somebody said to us, why are you doing it? Now, I think my wife would have been the main driver, in fairness, but I think somebody said to me, why are you doing it? And I said, well, we can. And it was that simple from my perspective. So we started the process in 2002, and at that stage you have to go through the process of being, okay to foster care. And I think we had the first foster child in the beginning of 2003. We had a child for about 2 weeks going on 6, and then we took brother and sister probably around the June time frame. We had them for 3 months, and then they were going back home. It was a better environment for them, back home area. They'd taken them away from the area and put them into our care. So they were kind of indicators as to what would be expected of us, and indicators only. Then these two arrived in December. Our Christmas present.
Yeah.
So it was Lauren and
My
one of your
sister.
siblings. Okay.
Just one sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the 19th of December.
2003.
Yeah.
The week before Christmas. So we've been, like, I've stayed with it and in it and with them in as much as I could have possibly do that since then. And it's second nature as such.
And was there something that prompted your wife to begin exploring it? Sometimes
If
foster
there
carers
was,
have
I
a-
don't know what it is. And it was, I think it was a drive just to do good. We can, so we will. I think that seems to be the drive. I mean, she's not alive now to ask that question, really. So
Oh, sorry to hear.
I don't know other than we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So it was a fully supportive environment, because I remember, like, when they were doing, what's that, the process? What do you call that process? When you're being validated, as it were.
You've been assessed?
Yes, being
Yeah,
assessed. When we were
yeah.
being assessed, Owen, who would be our eldest son, I remember him being asked, and he would have been a young little Scot at the time. He was asked, what do you think would happen in the foster care environment, like if children come into you? And he said, they'll be fine, sure, they have me.
And did that play out?
Well, it did, and I think we all, and I think in fairness, that we would have all gone into it with total naivety.
Yeah.
Utter and total naivety. Any preparation, and we did do some training beforehand, doesn't give any indication of what's happening and going to happen from there on out. So, yes, the good-hearted nature element of it stays the same, but it gets pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and you're constantly looking at how do we cope with this? How do we deal with this? And it's very hard to say how anything could be anticipated from that point of view.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing is how important it is for everyone to be on the same page, given
Try
all
and
of
be
that.
on the same
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
There are different pages.
Right.
If you can keep them on the same book, you're doing well.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
There has to be, in the sense that each of them are individual, and each of them are bringing individuality and uniqueness to the environment. So, how I would see things and how Lauren would see things at a given point would be totally different prospectively from each of us.
Yeah.
So it can't be the same hymn page, but the best of intention it can't be. It's boring.
Yes. It's like it's a real training in diversity, living with diversity, isn't it?
$1,000,000%.
Yeah, yeah. And Lauren, for yourself, you were one of 5, and then 2 of you came to Niall and Noreen. How was that for you at that time, being separated from the other 3?
I mean, that's a tough situation. Again, I'm only a baby, so I don't really know what's going on. But I suppose the older I got, the more I was like, this is not normal. It's not what everyone else in school is going through, that kind of thing. I suppose, again, I'm really blessed with my brain and how I look at things, because I look at it as a positive, even though there's days where I look at it and I'm like, that's not great. But like, it's the week before Christmas. Who is going to take in 5 young kids? Do you know, like, that's just, so I can't be mad at the world and say, oh, we shouldn't have been separated. We shouldn't have, because it's not natural, but nothing about that environment was natural. So it was tough, it's not like I remember looking at the girls in school and being like, God, I'm so jealous. Like, they'd be like, oh, and I'm robbing my sister's top for this disco, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And yeah, like, I have my foster sister, who I wouldn't call my foster sister, but I'm calling her that for now, just for clarity. And it wasn't like different with her. It was like just going into your sister's room or whatever. But it was a situation where I was just like, my 3 sisters are living in Cavan and I'm in Dublin, and I see them twice a week at or every 2 weeks, so twice a month at a supervised visit. Like, this situation is very unnatural. But because I was a baby, it became natural. I didn't have to adjust to something, having known something different prior, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, my eldest sister, she has it the toughest because she was 9. Do you know what I mean? She has memories of before and she has memories of after. Whereas luckily for me, I don't have memories of before. So this just became what was normal to me. So I can't really look at it and say, oh, it's bad, because I didn't know any different. But no, as the older I got, the more I was kind of like, this is strange, and other people don't go through this. But I suppose it's all about how you look at it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you grew up in it in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now, are you in touch with them? Are they still around Cavan, or?
I mean, life kind of happened. We lost my mum, so she died in 2015, and that kind of, I suppose, everyone kind of lost. We didn't really lose touch when Mum died. It kind of just, life kind of happened, you know, that kind of way. So the sister that I had moved into Niall and Noreen's house with had been moved for whatever reasons. She had moved down to, she moved to Mayo, so that was a change. So you kind of fall out of touch that way. The girls who were in Cavan stayed in Cavan. My eldest sister, when she reached 18, moved back to Dublin. And the two other girls who were in Cavan stayed there. One of them now is in like Dubai. One of them is still in Cavan. Like, we're all over the place. We wouldn't all talk all the time, but I feel like if a situation was to arise where we needed each other, we would know that we are there for each other. Like, it's the way I can describe it is we had a very unnatural and kind of strange situation. So therefore, it kind of makes sense now that we're not all in touch. We were never in an environment where we communicated regularly. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had access twice a month. It's not when you're living with your siblings and you go into their bedroom and you see them every day at the dinner table. So it's going to sound weird, but when someone's not telling you to communicate all the time, you don't really communicate all the time. You're not being forced to. And not that you should feel forced to, but it's like when your room's messy and no one's telling you to clean it, you don't really clean it. Do you know that kind of a way?
Yeah, it's like you need the encouragement, or you need the prompt to kind of...
And we don't really have that. And I feel like we're all kind of comfortable not communicating, which sometimes is not nice. Like, I'd love to be like, I'm going out with all my sisters, but such is life.
Yeah. You each had to adapt in your own way to where you were, and
1,000,000%,
yeah. Thanks. And Niall, you had birth children as well? Yeah. How did that go for them and in the family?
That's a good question with the benefit of hindsight.
Right.
It went as it went. We became as much of a kind of an entire family as we could possibly be. But there was no kind of, you wake up in the morning and kind of say, we're going to be an entire family. You just get on with living and with dealing with what comes around. So, I mean, the idea of foster caring is to provide a normal environment. So we stayed normal. We didn't do anything necessarily different from what we would do on a day-to-day basis. They got breakfast, they got dinner, they got lunch, they were brought to school, they were collected for school most days. They were brought to sports, they were encouraged to do whatever they wanted to get involved in, as we did with our own. And I think, in fairness, it probably worked out generally like that. But it'd be from the foster care perspective, not necessarily directly Lauren's perspective. Like, they're coming into care, they don't want to be in care.
Yeah.
They're not in an environment that is of their making. They want to be home. And you know you're living with this split, with this divide, in whatever context is coming through. So you're kind of trying to normalize it and at the same time ignore it, because it's there. Like, there's a red flag waving all of the time, and sometimes there's orange. There's a flag waving all of the time. And you have to be in tune with it. And it's an attunement that evolves and develops as they evolve and develop. And you're trying to be in tune with your own children as well. I have never seen such cleverness in individuals when things aren't going their way. Put it that way. So I could be in a fight, as it were, inverted commas fight, to use your terminology, with one of them, but they could be using my children. My children could be in a fight with me, but could be using the Lauren and her sister. Our sister, Lauren, could be fighting with my sister, with my daughter, but could be using me. So there was always an interplay, an interchange going on all of the time. There's a dynamic there like that is over and above what you'd ever anticipate ever being there.
Right, yeah.
And on one hand, it's a beautiful dynamic, because then you can focus on, oh my God, these are real people. And on the other hand, there's a kind of a false dynamic, because you're stuck in a system that is false. It's pretending that things aren't what they are.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a dynamic that you're trying to find a balance of all the time. That from a carer's perspective, from the foster parent, if I'm not allowed to use that word really, but from the carer's perspective, not really from Lauren or my children's perspective, but you're observing it and you have to tune into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be very aware of it. And you kind of sometimes you're going to the next, like, what on earth are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
It sounds like a real day-by-day practice.
Well, there's an interesting question you put there. I think one of the questions we'll get there before you might get there is like, what are the low lives and what are the high lives?
Yeah.
So the low life for me at a given point would have been sometimes you feel like you're in the middle of a lake in a boat with one oar, and you just keep pulling on that oar and just go round and round and round and round and round and round. And you can pull softly, you can pull hardly, you're still just going to go round and round and round. And at the end of the day, like, you're utterly exhausted with all the dynamics that are at play, and indeed with dealing with a system that is not very in tune with the dynamics of the emotionality of it. And that's the low life. At the end of the day, you're exhausted, really, really exhausted. The highlight is you start again the next day.
You might have 2 oars.
For a little while.
But
you start and you keep going. And that's the highlight, like with hindsight. I mean, the highlights obviously is you have a beautiful person, and you have beautiful people. Like, and I'm not taking away from that, but like from a sheer management of foster caring environment at home, that drive has to be there. Because if that drive isn't there, and it's sucked out of you very often by both the kids, not with any intent, and the issues that are underlying their development and their growth, and the system that doesn't recognise that we need to be more in tune with what's going on. So you're in the middle, fighting this battle, knowing that you're kind of banging your head against the wall, and you've got to go up the next morning and keep banging your head against that wall. Duh.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And it's not something that's told to foster carers very often. This will feel like banging your head against a wall at times. Yeah. Is there, without obviously compromising anyone involved, but is there a situation or an example of that comes to mind when you think, oh yeah, that was hard? Millions. That was being in the middle of the lake.
Millions and millions and millions, I'd say. Like, you need to, not you, one needs to, perspective is very important, right? And I didn't really realise until I was an adult that being placed in care in itself is trauma. That's traumatic.
Yeah.
Everything on top of that is just adding to that trauma. So, like, there's situations where I'm openly admitting, and Niall's going to be shocked here, that I was a witch when I was like a teenager. Because
she misspelled that.
Yeah. Like, the way teenage girls are just not nice people because they're going through what they're going through. This was like extreme because there was a whole load of underlying stuff there that we didn't even realise was going to come out until it came out. So, like, there's probably so many situations for Niall where he was like, what the hell do I do with this demon in my house? Like, extreme banging the head against the wall situation, because there's like the underlying, like, there's times where I used to come back from Access is when we would visit our parents, and like the high that I would get knowing it's a Wednesday, it's the second Wednesday every week, I'm gonna see Mommy and Daddy, and then the low when I got home was like extreme. And this is in a child, do you know, that kind of way. So I'd say it's also, I'm coming now into the house and Niall has no idea what to expect mood wise from me, because I don't even know what mood I'm going to be in. And it doesn't mean Access went well or Access didn't go well. That stirred a whole pot of emotions that I didn't even know were there. Like, again, because
it's happening below the surface, really,
because it's an unnatural, you don't go visit your mommy every 2 weeks in a room with someone from Tusla writing notes. That's not normal. And it was made normal for me, which it had to be. And I'm glad I got Access because I wanted to see my parents or whatever. But I suppose the roundabout way of answering the question is there's probably so many situations like that where Niall and Noreen and the guys in the house were probably like, what the hell? Like, how do we deal with this?
With Access, there would be 3 days before Access where the anxiety levels are rising. You can call it anticipation, you could call it
anxiety.
excitement, but anxiety was rising because in one sense, bless the poor people, you never knew what you're going to get into. And then you had a week of debriefing afterwards. So you're not necessarily debriefing on a vocalized manner, but you're looking at what's going on. What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? How do I touch in? How do I kind of connect with this uncertainty, unknowing? And then it starts again.
Yeah, if it's every 2 weeks, that cycle is practically 2 weeks.
So you're in there going around with one over, and it's part of that. So that is one element of it, and it's kind and unkind to the foster children, but it's sometimes very horrendous on the foster carers, and you can see already the split. So you could see Lauren coming home, and I'm using Lauren because Lauren's in the room. Our home couldn't be related to in the access because we don't know what it's doing. Like, because Mammy doesn't want to hear about Noreen or Niall. Why would she? They shouldn't be with them anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of a split going on. So you have to kind of come out of the split to go into it, and then come back from it back into the split again. So you couldn't kind of go on about how I got on great in school, or I got this result, or I'm doing this, or anything like that, because you're storing something in the parents, the biological parents. Unnecessary. I remember, like myself and Noreen, we made a big mistake, and with the benefit of hindsight, we made a big mistake. So when they came in first, we took photographs.
I love this story.
Of them, kind of, and we put together, like, we were meeting at one of the care reviews, and we were meeting with your mom, and I think Daz might have been there as well. He
was, yeah.
And we kind of proudly handed over this photo album of the kids, like for great intent. And I could see, within seconds, I could see the look of anger and disgust in our face. I said, oh my God, we've just made the biggest mistake in our lives. We're just rubbing their nose in it as such.
Yeah.
There was no intent, and in fairness, they were very good about it, but I guess, we really have to second think, in one sense, everything that's going to go on.
Mm. And it feels to me like some support or some advice around that would have been helpful for you.
This is going to sound terrible. There's no advice that you can give to somebody going into that situation that's genuinely going to help. This is the most, it's not, I don't want to say it's the most unnatural situation and make people feel isolated or, God, I'm in a really weird situation. But there are some things that no matter how much prep you do, that is still zero prep. You are making a photo album for someone with the most beautiful intentions. You don't know how that's going to be perceived because you don't know what's going on in somebody else's head. And when I think of my mom, I'm like, this poor, beautiful woman lost her 5 kids the week before Christmas. Do you know what I mean? So you handing her a photo album can either, one, be like a warm hug, and she's like, oh God, they're safe, they're healthy. And I'm sure that was in her brain. But at the same time, they're my kids. Yeah. And you're showing me them at birthdays and at events with your family. I don't want to see that. And it's not that...
And I appreciated the lesson learned, as it were.
Yeah.
But I don't know how anybody could tell you that beforehand.
There's no prep that you can't prep somebody for something like that.
It's part of the rolling with it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah.
This whole situation
Difficult.
is just rolling with it.
It sounds like you were carrying quite a bit then.
Yeah. In
the access, or holding back quite a bit maybe around what you could and couldn't say to your mom. Is that what it felt like?
I mean, yes and no. I was a child, obviously, and no child should ever feel like they have to hold what they say, and I didn't. My mum never made me feel like that. But as I grew up, and it's really, this is what I'm like, timing is just not fair. It's unfair that she died for so many reasons, but it's unfair that she died because I was at the age where I was like, God, I'm relating to you more. Mm-hmm. I'm understanding why you did what you did, or you were the way you were. But she never made me feel like there's stuff I can't say. And never intentionally made me feel like I shouldn't have said that. But I could see her hurt on times where, oh, I went out with Noreen and I did this. To her, you're going out with someone else that is a mammy figure. I'm your mammy. Do you know, that kind of way? And it was always the belief that when we were 18, we would be back in mammy's house because why wouldn't we be? This was, bless her heart, she tried when we were put into care to get better, and unfortunately she couldn't, and she had every intention, I think, of trying to get everything to be perfect again. Do you know? And not again, because it never was perfect, but she did have that in her brain where she was like, I'm gonna get my girls back, because why wouldn't I? They're my girls, and this is just a temporary situation. And I don't know if that's slightly delusional, but like, I completely understand why she would be hurt by things that weren't done to hurt her, and words that weren't said to hurt her feelings. Because I know if I lost my 5 kids the week before Christmas and someone handed me a photo album of my kids, half of me would be like, thank you, I love you, and half of me would be like, get that away from me, I don't want to look at it. So it's, again, perspective, and it's just, everyone's emotions are so different, and this situation is so traumatic that like everyone picks it up differently, do you know, that kind of way. So it's, I get it, and I get why she felt how she felt, and I just like would love to have just given her a hug at that time, because that's hard, like that's tough.
Yeah, it's a massive loss.
Yeah.
How old were you when she died?
So I would have been 14. I was 11 when my foster mum died, and then I was 14 when Mammy died. So that was a lot.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just life, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got the chance to have 2 mammies. Like, I'm lucky.
We slag her.
Yeah.
She lost 2 of them.
Double whammy with my 2 mammies being gone. Yeah, it was tough. Like, that is tough. That's not something anybody really should go through, but like, no one should be going through.
No, but you had a lovely 6 months towards the end of your mum's life together. It was quality time there.
My mum was really sick. Like, she struggled so bad with addiction, like really, really bad. It just consumed her life. And like, obviously the older I get, I'm like, I think I would have turned to vodka as well if that happened to me the week before Christmas. Like, I would have. But she was in hospital then before she died for a couple of months. And this is what I mean when I say, like, Niall's not my foster dad, Niall is my dad. This man drove me to James's hospital any chance that he could for me to go in there. And even if it meant that I could sit with Mam for half an hour while she was asleep, he would wait for me. Like, he did that because I think he knew, and I didn't know at the time because I was 14, like what 14-year-old has like the thoughts of, oh, this is going to benefit me when I'm older kind of thing. But he knew, even you going in there and sitting there, like, that will make a difference kind of to your life. And 1,000,000% it did, like 1,000,000%. Like, those 6 months are the 6 months that I would think I'm luckiest for. Like, it's not the access, being in those access rooms where, like, Mam was so good. She would bring canvases and we would paint. We'd always do some sort of activity. We would always do something fun. Like, she really tried hard. But it was those 6 months where we had nothing but conversation that I'm like, I'm so lucky to have had that. And that's what makes me like, I was closer to her then than I ever was.
How was that time for you, Niall?
Exactly as Lauren said. I remember encouraging you. I remember you kind of fighting that encouragement at the outset, but I remember encouraging her, and I remember going in. I remember kind of getting over your shyness and reservations and kind of walking you in there for that. I mean, it was for her. There was a no-brainer from my perspective.
There was one day, sorry to interrupt you, and not that my mum didn't like Niall, right? She was
no, the divide is like, she didn't like me because I was a foster care, but as an individual, we got on quite well together.
Yeah. But Niall walked me in because I don't know if I was anxious or whatever, and he walked me right up to Mammy's bed, right, and she was asleep, and I was like, no, we'll just go, and he was like, no, we won't go, and he kind of like tapped her to wake her up, and the second her eyes opened, he was like, see you later, gotta go, and then he just left me, like, but he didn't leave me until he knew like that everything was okay. But I'll never forget, like, she woke up and I was like, right, are you okay, gotta go, see you later. He just wasn't, not that he felt uncomfortable, he was like, this is your space, this isn't about me kind of thing. And that's just... But
how well we were getting on, inverted commas, was based on, what did she say to you after I left?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Did Niall see me like this?
Yeah, did Niall see me like this? I was like, Mammy, it's fine, like, relax.
So she wanted you to see her in a good way.
Yeah.
I would have done anyway.
Yes.
Like, once I learned that lesson at the very beginning, like, just tune in to where this person is coming from, or these people, because Dad was there as well very often, where these people are coming from, and see it from their perspective. Then it became, I won't say, it became easier to be aware of it. Now, you're not getting it all the time. You couldn't possibly get it all the time, but you're much more tuned into it, much more aware of it. It's a very difficult situation. You're in this kind of false environment talking about the kids' welfare, and, we'll be here again next year.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And nothing will have changed per se, except like that we are developing as best we can.
But there was never a judgment of Niall and Noreen on Mammy and Dad's. Like, there was never that. But Mammy and Dad's had their own self-judgment that they were like, oh God, Niall and Noreen are going to see us in this way. But that was never put on them by Niall and Noreen ever. Ever. So I'll never forget, when Mum turned around, she was like, did Niall see me like this? I was like, relax. You're in hospital. Like, you're meant to be in your Deb's dress. Like, chill out. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had a sense of the preciousness of that time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah.
But we didn't even know. Like, we didn't know she was going to die.
No.
He just knew, like, this, like, she's here. She probably needs you. Not probably. She needs you. You need her. And just, like, this, it would be really beneficial to the both of you. And it 100% was.
Well, the gentle suggestion is, will you be happy in 5 years' time that you did or didn't do this? Or, in 10 years' time. So even though you might be very uncomfortable doing something at the moment, it's kind of, you're doing it for the benefit of being able to look back and say,
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be like that I was uncomfortable to go into Mam. She didn't make me nervous or uncomfortable, but it's a weird environment that, like, she's there in hospital, you're her child, and even if you only see her every 2 weeks, it's still your mammy, but at the same time, you only see her every 2 weeks. Like, it's a really weird situation. So I really don't want it to be that, Lauren was nervous to go in there for... It was just an anxiousness because it's a situation that you're unaware of. And I'm someone who hates the unknown. Like, I like to know. I just have anxiety. I'll overthink it, like, so...
It wasn't the person, it was the event.
Hi, I'm Shauna Cunningham and you're listening to Stories from Foster Care. Be sure to subscribe and listen to us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
Any other highlights that come to mind? I mean, that sounds like a really important time in your life.
There were a lot of those little important things all along the line. Like, you get the benefit of the incremental benefit of each positive and negative, even though I hate using those two words, in what's represented to you today. In both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't have to describe to people, they can hear it.
Yeah. So, there are those, there are always going to be those moments inside there. I mean, are we going to go there with a flag flaming from the top of the building saying, hey, foster care is brilliant, blah? No, because, like, it's a non-natural environment. That's the system. Bless the system from an aspirational perspective, looking after the welfare care of people in danger. Like, it's brilliant. I have no issue with that at all. But the system itself is horrible. It doesn't really go
broken.
beyond it. Yeah.
It's a broken system.
So we're not going to kind of over-advocate on that necessarily. But from working with people where we can work together in that family environment, in that balanced or imbalanced, for lack of a better way of putting it, even family environment, and something good comes out of it for all of the sisters somewhere along the line. And it only has to be something small goodness that stays there, because that small goodness may be the acorn that grows into the tree later on down the road. Yes, your hope. I'm getting emotional now, nearly.
No, but it's all about little wins. Like, we don't have, like, I wouldn't look at Niall and be like, oh, there's these major mega life events where I'm like, whoa.
My halo's on, though.
But it's not like that. It's not like we did this, like, there are so many little wins, and that many that I actually don't know if I could name them, but, like, little things that I'm like, that's amazing that worked out the way it did, or something like that. Like, it's not about having, like, yes, have huge goals, reach for as far as you can reach, but, like, we're just very realistic, and, like, we would have, like, there's little wins with how we communicate, or how, I don't know, like,
but there's little wins in all of us as well, because there's a big win in knowing who's absent but our absence is our presence at the same time, if you know what I mean. There's little wins in each of my own children because they all participated fully in this experiment, this reality. They're all involved in it in their own way. They're all engrossed and they've all contributed significantly and taken significantly, good, bad, and or indifferent from that, as you have done. So it would be, they're not around the table kind of advocating on their behalf. So it would be wrong of me not to bring them into it and acknowledge like the part that they play in it. Like they play the part, the hidden part necessarily being able to top me up when I'm rowing with the one oar in the middle of the lake, because they can bring that smile to my face at a given point when I need it.
Yeah. And Niall, when you say the big win and the person who's absent and is present by their absence, are you talking about Lauren's mum there? Or?
Oh, I think Lauren will be talking about your mum from your perspective. I'll be talking about Noreen, really.
Oh, Noreen, of course, your wife.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I understand.
Because like I'm the one that's alive today to talk about the experience we've had in foster caring, whereas like we shared that experiences for 12 years, I guess, before she went. Yeah. So to be wrong to exclude her from that.
Yes,
and her presence would be in Lauren and her sister, and indeed and the siblings to a certain degree as well. Because like there was good contact at the beginning.
Yeah. My sister, my eldest sister Lindsay, rang me. We were on the phone the other day, and I don't know how we got onto the conversation, but she was saying, like, this is what I mean. She brought up Noreen, and like, which is so random because not that there'd be no reason to, but it was just kind of out of the blue. And she was saying that when we first went into care, she was on the phone to Noreen being like, and Lauren takes her bottle at this time, and then you have to hold her this way and she won't cry, and she did. And Noreen obviously is a mammy, like has her own kids, knows what she's doing, took that patience and was like, okay Lindsay, and now what do I do? And already knowing the answers, like, but she was like, so even, I don't like saying Noreen's gone, like she's not around, but like she is, like that popped into Lindsay's head for whatever reason, and then that popped into my head for whatever reason. So it is things like that you're like, that conversation is a little win. Like that's a conversation that I got to share now with Lindsay where we had a giggle, do you know, that kind of way. And like, I don't know if Noreen even knew the impact that would have when that happened, which is nice.
Yeah, like these nurturing gestures in the moment just have echoes all the way down the ears.
All the time. And I feel like for me, because of what I have been through, I care so deeply. Like I almost feel my emotions 10 times harder than I feel other people do. So things that would just be a conversation, they're not just a conversation to me. Like that's something that I'm like, oh, that's lovely. Like that means whatever it means kind of thing. Which is, I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we haven't got a perfect world, we haven't got a perfect system, but sometimes I think we didn't do too bad.
No, we didn't, in fairness. Yeah.
But, you know, we're kind of positive, we're nice, we're loving, we're emotional around it today, but like, it is hard work. It is hard work being a foster child, because you're fighting a battle all the time about not being where you want to be. And it's hard work being a foster care in a system that's very often blind to your needs.
That's a whole other, like we would need another 4 hours to talk about the other side of it. Like while we are really positive, and I would look at us, even when I look at Epic, like the other people in Epic, I would be like, we're the lucky ones, like we're kind of positive. But that doesn't mean that we, like, it's hard. Like we were fighting a system that was meant to support us that did nothing supportive at all. Well,
you had to fight hard for it.
Very
often, like you were just kind of
shut down. For me, it's when you're building a house, you have to lay down foundations because your house is going to sink if you don't have those foundations down there. There are cracks and holes and craters in the foundation of the system that is meant to care for children right now. And all that is happening is they're trying to build stories onto this house, but the cracks are just going to break more. Like you need to lay out and you need to finish, or whatever the hell the word is, smooth out these cracks in order to build. You can't build a house on nothing. You can't add stories and add an extension and do this if you don't have the basics right. The basics in the care system in Ireland are backwards, like completely backwards. And we're lucky that we're in the situation that we are in, that we didn't fall down those cracks. Because I have people in my life who I've seen falling down the cracks, and they are not being helped out of those cracks. So as beautiful as what can come out of the care system can be, like the relationship that I have with Niall is beautiful, that could have gone the other way, like 1,000,000% could have gone the other way if Niall wasn't the person he was and I wasn't the person I am. There's other people who are in that system who aren't supported, and they're not looked after, and they're forgotten about, and the word care is irrelevant there because there's a lack of care for all of those people. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I wish I could talk about it for hours. Like, I really wish I could, but it is backwards. It's not a good system.
It is. So, and you're getting the viewpoint from the children in care there. Like, the viewpoint from the foster carers is, even we're not considered. We're not. I don't think my experience, like, it's individual to me, but I suspect it's not unique to me. Is we're not respected as foster carers. We're not respected. We're not professionals, and we've been very often put into this bucket. So, like, the issues of policy about pensions, like, that's sad. I mean, that's just sad. The issue over allegations and this system that they have inside there, where you're nearly guilty until you're never proven innocent, that's horrendous. We're living under this kind of threat of being always a risk. And there's a vulnerability and a fragility inside there that is not considered by anybody at all. And you asked at the beginning, and they're just two of the main things. There are other things inside there as well. You asked at the beginning, why did we get into foster care, as it were? And another simplicity that I have is that we never went into it for any reward, but we certainly didn't get into it to be punished. And very often I felt, as a carer, to be punished by the system and by individuals.
Yeah.
And that's hard going. That's not even kind of one oar in the water going.
Yeah, that's having that oar taken away, or it's like the complexity that you're describing so well, the pair of you, how dynamic it is, how complex day to day, and then to have those extra unnecessary pressures on top of that as well.
There's an acknowledgement, and to be unfair of us not taking, there's an acknowledgement that it is a difficult environment. And, you could say to a certain degree, maybe they're doing their best, but really the best is not good enough. Full stop.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's very much a tick the box kind of thing for the people who work in that system. Like, you aren't a vulnerable child in care, and you aren't someone who has opened up your home to a child. You are a survey, or you are just a file. And they're like, once that checklist is ticked off, then that's kind of it. And because there are so many people in care and going through care, and it's not just foster care, it's residential care, it's all sorts of care. Like, I understand that you can't bubble wrap everyone, like, you can't give that kind of level of affection and attention to everybody, but it's just backwards. There's no support for foster carers. There's no really support for anybody.
There is. You can phone me on a Thursday.
The amount of times that Niall had to go and not just look, but to search and to fight for basic things for us. And those are things that we needed. Bare necessities that he had to fight for and then be pushed back on, and then be made feel like, why am I even trying to do this? I'm trying so hard. And he never once stopped. He never gave up. He was relentless. But he shouldn't have had to fight that hard. That system is meant to be there to help him help us, and it wasn't. And he really did fight hard to get basic things for us. It's just ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah. You're both advocates.
Mm-hmm.
We just made reference to Niall on the IFCA helpline on a Thursday, and I know you've been advocate with EPIC, and I'm hearing that fire in both of you now coming up. Tell us about your advocacy work.
I suppose for me, oh God, there's so many words I could use, but the one way I would word it is, I've been through the care system. I am quite lucky in how I came out of the care system, and while I went through some horrible, horrible things, I would be considered I had quite a good outcome. My advocacy would be I'm not here to change the care system for me. I've been through it. It's the people who are going through it and who are going to go through it who may not feel that their voice will be heard, or who may not feel like they can be listened to, or may feel like they don't have a voice. They do have a voice. And if that means that I need to be their voice, I will be their voice. Because while I'm kind of on the other end of it, and I got out of that whole situation in the most beautiful way, like I'm in the same house, I have the most beautiful family, there's people who don't have that, and they don't have anybody fighting their corner. And I have the ability and the experience. If I can change one thing for them, then that's a beautiful thing. So why would I not use my experience to benefit other people? It just is a no-brainer for me.
And for you, that's been through Epic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I joined Epic in 2015. I was on like the underage council. Then when I turned 18, you kind of go on to the council. Like, we've done some really cool things. And it's not just like fun things. Like, I was on the Late Late Show, and I've been in the papers and like on podcasts. I've spoken the Oireachtas pre-budget 2023 as well. But like, those aren't the things that I look at and I'm like, that's why I'm in Epic. The things that I look at are, we changed what's not a legislation, we kind of basically fought for that young people who are in care should be able to see their files before the age of 18. And we got that changed. And that happened because young people, care-experienced young people, went in there and said, we want this changed. That conversation wouldn't have happened if we weren't in there fighting. And I think forever I will be grateful for the people who were in Epic when I started in Epic.
Yeah, they're an amazing organisation.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that sounds huge about having access to your files. Yeah. Younger than 18. Was that important to you personally? Was that something that came out of your personal experience?
Yeah, and I feel like this is why Epic is so brilliant, because you have so many young people who are care experienced. Some are foster care, some are residential care, some are relative care, whatever it may be. And we individually have our own passions due to what we went through. So something that I was hugely advocating for, like fighting for, was like sibling separation is wrong. And like accessing your files, you should be able to see that. And say there's other people who would fight for the rights of homelessness because that's what they had been through. And then to be able to bring that into Epic, and we all have our own little fires, but we all have one goal and at the end, and that is to fix this system. So like the files was something for me. Like, I don't have my mum. I can't go and sit with her and say, why did you do this? Or why did this happen? Or whatever. Like, those questions, they're not going to be answered because she's not here. And having access to your files was something that I was like, well, that's like essentially, to explain your files is every time you are at access. And I think kind of any time a life event happens, that gets written into your file. And I was in care for how many years? From the age of 2 to the age of 18. Like, I have files upon files. So every factor of my life is written in there. And you're meant to have one social worker for your time in care. I think we went through maybe 11 or something. Like, it was an absolute joke. But you're reintroducing yourself. You're reintroducing your story. This is a new person getting to write a chapter in your file. And you're telling me I can't see those files? You're telling me I can't read those files? I can't see what you've written or how you've written it? Like, what if you were in a bad mood that day when you were writing that file and you said, oh, Lauren did this, or your mood was off? Like, it's all like, that's something that you can't access then. So it was hugely important to know. I did request my files and they're redacted. So anything that's not about you is blacked out, obviously. But like, even being able to get them was something that was just brilliant. Like, I was like, that we see that come to life. Like, and then there's other things in Epic, like, they seem small, but they're not small. So like, say the likes of like LGBTQ and stuff, there was brochures made about like basically growing up in care in that community. Like, that wasn't something that was spotlighted or highlighted, and those brochures are in every kind of 2-slat office, every HSE or like those offices in this country. And that's because young people in care made those brochures and said, take them and I want you to read them. So they're like plastered everywhere, and that's because the fire in these young people being like, no, you will learn about this, because why wouldn't you learn about this? It's not in CSP in school. You don't learn about it as a subject. So if we need to teach you, then we'll teach you. So like, I know when I sit in that room and everybody starts talking, I'm just like, this is insane. Like this is cool. Like, the amount of passion that's kind of put out there. But I suppose that's what advocacy is. Like, you are for me it is, I am a voice for people who feel that they don't have a voice.
Yeah.
Like, I can use mine, so why wouldn't I use it? Like, of course I would.
Not everyone would have that thought, Lauren, but you do.
Yeah.
Yourself, Niall.
Well, with the Irish Foster Care Association, it's not really advocacy, it's more the helpline.
Yeah.
And my desire, I suppose, to be there is based on the fact that when I needed somebody to talk to, when they weren't around from the system perspective, there wasn't really anybody at the time. You're dealing with... So if you have 10,000 problems coming at you from the children, from your own children, from the biological parents, from access visits, from the system, and none of them are being helpful, somewhere along the line you start to feel, is it me? Me bad? And it's not. So when you get... And I need to have somebody to say, no, it's not you. It is the system being unkind to you. It is the kids pulling the hair out of you because they don't know what's going on. And you need somebody to say that. And you need somebody to genuinely be there to say that. So I can say that to any foster care who phones up, pulling their hair out in the middle of the lake, going with one oar round and around and round and around. I'm there. And like, you're not the problem. You're not the problem. What you're doing is phenomenal. But you're forgetting to see the phenomenality of it because you're stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be. And that's why I'm there. Not the simple questions which were easy to, but to remind the people who are calling, you're doing brilliantly. And more. And don't forget that.
It's so important.
Yeah.
It's the difference between being able to hang in and not being able to, sometimes I think. Yeah.
So that's why I'm there.
Yes, yeah.
You're like a warm hug. It's like a little hug through the phone. That's lovely.
That's the hope anyway.
So, I'm curious as to what you feel, what you would like to say to either your younger self as a foster carer or a foster child that might be beneficial for other people to hear. What encouragement would you give to that person?
I would just say, and it's so simple, like, it's okay. Like, you are okay. And nobody knows that in the moment. Like, everybody has that moment where they're like, my life is falling apart. Like, why is this happening to me? And you're not a victim. You have every right to feel like this is not a nice situation to be in. And just because I'm someone who's like, I don't want to say come out on the other end, like, even while you're still going through it, like, there is so much more to life than what you're feeling right now. And your life's not going to end. This is not the end of the world. And it feels like it is. And you're so right to feel like it is. You're not being dramatic. But it's okay. Like, you're okay. That's just it. Like, you're so okay.
Yeah, I probably the same. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't be afraid to get it wrong, although I don't like using that word. Don't be afraid to get into circumstances that are unfavourable at a given point versus favourable. That's your learning. Keep doing what you're doing. And I love the film The Shawshank, because, like, you just do The Shawshank. Keep writing the letter. Bore them into submission if you need to.
So explain that, because I know lots of people know that film inside out and love it. I can't remember. I saw it years ago. What is that story? The
story, the particular part I'm referring to is where he wants to create a library inside in the prison. And he writes off to the various boards, I guess, around the state, seeing if they will donate books to the library, so that they have a library for prison, because there's nothing there. There's no reading, no books. And every week he wrote a letter to the same place, I can't remember the whole story now, until they got so bored of getting a letter every week that they gave him the books.
Yeah. So
you kind of bored him into submission, which is what other people do to us ultimately as well. Like, to a certain degree, the chick box is kind of bored in submission as well.
It's essentially just don't stop.
Keep
like
going.
Fighting. Like, you have that fire in you for a reason.
Yeah.
And like, people are gonna stamp on it, and people are gonna splash you with water, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm done. But you're not done. like that's there for a reason.
Again, bring it back down to the beginning, like the highs and lows. The high is you get up the next morning and you keep doing it. It's hard work. The high is really only a hindsight retrospective pat on the back.
That's really interesting. That it's hard to experience it in the moment,
Yes.
but it's afterwards you realise,
Yeah.
when you're looking back like the two of you are now,
Yeah.
over these years, you can see it.
It's crucifying work at times.
Yeah. So the support is really important as well, like ringing someone like yourself on the IFCA helpline or wherever you can get the support. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not weak for wanting help either. That's terrible. Anyone who's like, oh well, I shouldn't need help, take the help. Like, this is your first time being a person, and this is your first time like living life. If you don't know the answers, you don't know the answers, and you might ring Niall and he might be like, I don't know, and Niall might have to go and ask somebody else, and they might be like, well, I don't know either. But then let's all try to figure it out. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's not being alone in figuring it out.
Yeah,
It's so
and-
important.
Well, we don't know. I mean, you know, like, if I pick on Lauren, if I take Lauren's example, Lauren could wake up in the morning when she was younger and there's something going on, and you know there's something going on, but you have no idea what it is. So both of you respectively have to try and work together without even working together to try and see where is this going, knowing that you don't know what it is. So it's like, you know, one of my favourite sayings is what you can't have in foster care is planned spontaneity. Spontaneity, yes.
Plenty.
Planned spontaneity, no.
So as we approach the end of our conversation, I'm curious if there's anything else either or both of you would like to add that you feel hasn't been said but you would like to express.
I think we're both delighted to have been asked to do this. I think we both have used the opportunity to be ourselves while doing this, and I think if not both of us, have appreciated ourselves in being able to do this. Like, we've gained a little bit more of Niall is there now, a little bit more of Lauren is there now, I think, in doing this. So that's it. If you're a foster carer, good luck. If you're a foster child, condolences, maybe.
Yeah.
But good luck as well.
Yeah. Well, just thank you so much to the both of you for such a precious conversation. It was such a privilege listening to you, and thanks for sharing all that you have. Thank you.
Of course.
Not quite all.
Yeah.
All that you have in this conversation. I'm sure you've held plenty back, but everything that you've shared with us. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having us.
It was great to have Niall and Lauren in the studio. I found that a really inspiring conversation. Hope you enjoyed it too. And don't forget to listen next time.